You know, you gotta work while the iron is hot. You heard that expression before? Something like that. Anyway, I know I got glare. Can't help it. It's that big old light. Nevertheless, I'm going to do Revelations 4. And I know it says Revelation 4, but I like it Revelations. That's what I've always called it. Anyway, here we go. Synopsis for chapter 4. John sees the celestial earth, the throne of God, and all created things worshiping the Lord. Okay, this is verse 1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. The first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet, talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show, it says shew, I will shew thee things which must be hereafter. So that means I will show you the things that are coming hereafter. And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like as, let's see, okay, I'm saying wrong words. Verse 3. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. So it must be a sardine dine. It's D-I-N-E. Sardine stone. I wonder what that is. And there was a rainbow round about the throne in sight, like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats. And upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. I have to stop there. Now, I've been reading out of the Book of Mormon, and what's coming up in what I'm reading is, Jesus has just died. So pretty soon, he's going to be resurrected. And then pretty soon, sometime in the near future after that, he's coming to the Americas. And he is going to choose another 12 disciples. Okay, over there, they were called apostles. And over here, they were called disciples. And disciples are a student. We are disciples. Those of us who endeavor to learn about Jesus Christ, we are disciples of Jesus Christ. Become a student. But nevertheless, he chose 12 on the Americas and gave them the power to act in his name and to teach and to preach and to do miracles just like he did his apostles. Then he was there for a while teaching them. But when he first appeared, he came out of the sky. He descended from above in total white raiment, and he came down to the people who were the believers, the ones who were left. Because when he died, remember, if you go through my stuff, when he died on the cross, which is in chapter 8, 3rd Nephi chapter 8, all the tempest and the whirlwinds and the upheaval, and so many people died. I mean, and then there were 3 days of darkness. The 3 days that he was in the tomb, but not because he left his, I guess he left his body, you know what? Yeah, and then he came back and got it and left his clothes instead or something. The wrapping that they gave him when he was put in the tomb. I diverse, I'm sorry. So I had a point to all that, which was, things are going on both places, in Jerusalem and over here. And so now, he has come to the other sheep that he needed to see. Other sheep that are not of this fold. I need to visit them also. And those are the ones over here, in the Americas, in the Book of Mormon. So it's really great stuff that's going on. I mean, because we've been waiting. Just think about it. The Old Testament talks about him coming, and forever the Savior is going to come, you know. And then the New Testament, he has came. He is here. And his ministry is from 30 to 33. Not 30 to 34. He did the full 3 years. He lived the full 33 years. I swear I know in my head that he died the morning of his 34th birthday. But that's not what I read just the other day. So sometimes you just have to wait and see. But in my head, I knew that. Maybe he told me. Maybe it's not totally correct in the scriptures. Who knows? But he died the morning of his 34th birthday is what I'm going to say. And 3 days later, he arose. So he lived 33 years total. Took him 3 hours to die. That's what I read in the Book of Mormon. It's what it seemed like. They said about a space of about 3 hours, all that tempest and bad things was going on, upheaval. Then the 3 days of darkness. It wasn't just dark. It was a dark, deep vapor. They couldn't light a fire. They had no light whatsoever for 3 days. But amongst that 3 days, all these cities have been destroyed. I can't remember if fire was involved. But I do know that it said mountains appeared where there weren't mountains, and that cities were swallowed up in the earth. There were earthquakes. That might be the tempest, but whirlwinds and all kinds of things. They even talked about how the rocks splintered and shattered right into other things, you know, like they do in tornadoes and trees. Anyway, pretty interesting. And so these two were correlating, and I'm not sure why now, because it's been sardine stone. I wonder what a sardine stone is. Somebody look that up and tell me. I'm going to have to look it up myself. Okay, so that is the part about pondering. You know, you get to a thing and you're not quite understanding what you're reading. Well, you stop, you slow down, you read it 2 or 3 times, and don't forget to ask for help. You know? Believe with enough faith that you can ask in a prayer, and make a space that, hey, he might just answer your prayer. I have had revelation. I have had personal revelation and understanding come to me, but you do need to seek after it. Knock, and the door will be open. Seek, and ye shall find. Do it with real intent, and God will help you out, okay? Serious biz. There's great stuff in these books. Now, like I said before, Revelations is quite hard to understand. But if you got a foundation, and I have studied this stuff, but I haven't read it, and it's been a long time. So, commentary will stop now. I need to go back to where I was, and maybe I'll just go back to 1. Okay, we'll just start over. Because if you really want to know, that's what you'd want to do, okay? All right. I'm just going to do the whole thing. So, the synopsis. John sees the celestial earth. See, now I want to stop again, because this earth will be celestialized, okay? This earth will become the celestial kingdom. Right now, it's either in its telestial or less than telestial state. I think the Garden of Eden might have been the telestial state, which is a better state than we have, okay? Where everything was beautiful all the time. But anyway, so just the 3 kingdoms of glory that I talked about in one of my other papers. Just this world is in the lowest degree, okay? And then the terrestrial will be so much better. And then the celestial, oh my. So then when the millennium comes, we're going to be changed into a semi-immortal state. And while we're lifted up above with God, there's going to be great destruction down below. And maybe that's also the upheaval, just like just happened in 3rd Nephi as Jesus died on the cross. The whole earth mourned. The whole earth went crazy. but especially over here, because there were some evil, evil, evil people. Like I said before, they got their up and comings. In chapter 8, 3rd Nephi, read it. Put this free app on your phone where you get all the scriptures and you can look up things lickety-split all over the place. So anyway, I'm going to start chapter 4 again, and I'll try not to give you too much commentary. Okay, I'll just read it. But it's hard when you see something that you're not going to get back to. So it's like, okay, stop. Pretty cool, Bo. All right, so John sees the celestial earth, the throne of God, and all created things worshiping the Lord. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were a trumpet talking with me. Now, isn't that strange? Okay. Which said, Come up hither, and I will shew thee things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. That is how you say that, sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. That's my birthstone. And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. Verse 5. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. And behold, the throne, there was a sea of glass. Oh, I gotta stop again. I told you, God resides on a sea of glass, okay? Which is his Urim and Thummim, which is his world, which gives him knowledge of everything pertaining to him and his world. And actually, all of the worlds he's created, because he's created massive amounts. Infinity and beyond. Okay, I diverse, I know. Let's see. This is important, though. I told you I wasn't going to stop, and I did anyway. God lives on a sea of glass. And here it is. And it is likened to a crystal, and I said that too. How cool is that? Okay. You need to go read my other papers. I talk a lot, and I spread all over the place. But especially there are some where I talk about Urim and Thummim, seer stones, the crystal ball, the sea of glass that God lives on. He lives on a crystal ball. That's my own interpretation. And I bet you'll find I'm right. Anyway, okay, let's go back here. We're on verse 6. And before the throne there was a sea of glass, like unto crystal. And in the midst of the throne, and round about the throne, were 4 beasts, full of eyes, before and behind. So they had eyes all over the place, before and behind, in the front and in the back. Okay. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf. And the third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle.